Good morning, everyone. My name is Melanie and welcome back to A Slice of Heaven Homestead. Today we are halting our home repairs for just a day because we are doing something very important for the homestead. Now last week we added our very first animals to this homestead. We have 3 does. They are going to be our breeding does. 2 of them are New Zealand whites and 1 is a New Zealand giant Flemish cross. But today we are going to be adding some chicks. Alright, I have made a list of hopefully everything that we will need in order to start up these chicks in a little brooder. So we need a tub, a heat lamp, and a bowl. Woven wire to put over the top of the tub just to keep the chicks in and to keep other things potentially out. We need a chick waterer, a chick food tray, bedding, chick food, and raw apple cider vinegar to incorporate into their water. Well, we are back from getting all of our chick stuff, and we've also got our chicks right now. I'll show you right here. Get into the good light. So we have 3 Araucanas, 5 Buff Orpingtons, and 10 Barred Rock. Now, I've never had any of those breeds before, but they are all great breeds. So we'll see how they fit in on our homestead. All right, so now that we have all of our stuff to set up their little chick brooder, I'm just going to go through and show you how I go ahead and do that. Now, to start off with, we have these pine shavings. Some people don't like to put pine shavings in just because pine can raise the acidity of your compost pile. But we have time to let that break down a little bit more. Also, we're planning on getting some blueberry bushes, and blueberry bushes love the acidity. They love just straight pine, so that'll be good for that. All right. I'm just going to cover the bottom with about an inch or so of pine shavings. It doesn't need to be a whole lot, and these girls will mess this stuff up real fast. You'll find if you ever have chicks and chickens, they are foul. All right, next I'm going to add in my chick feeder with some medicated chick starter crumbles. Now next is super important, it's their water, and I'm going to be putting them in the cage after I get this water set up. I'm gonna add just like a cap full of this raw apple cider vinegar. It's supposed to help with their digestion. Now, as I put them in, I'm going to very gently dip their beak in the water so they know that the water is there. Sweetie, I don't know if that's the way it's supposed to be done. Excellent. These girls were ready to be out of their tiny little box. Now, while they explore their new home, I'm going to go ahead and get the top of this big tote that I have as their brooder. I'm going to get it set up so that no critters can get in. Also, I have a heat lamp because these chicks are so young, they need a heat source or they will get too cold and die. I thought you guys might enjoy seeing those chicks more than me gathering all of my stuff to make the lid. So, I have my lid here and a bit of the woven hardware cloth. And my plan is to just cut out about half of this lid. And I'm going to fit this woven wire cloth to go over it. Now, it's not going to be what I would call outside secure. It will be good enough to keep our dog and cat out of it, which is all I'm looking for right now. Now, for advice for any of you guys that have never had chicks before who are thinking about getting chicks, I do not recommend having a brooder in the house. We have to because we have not fixed up that shed enough to be secure from snakes and things. So that's our next project. Until then, these girls are going to be in the house in our laundry room, which is going to be separate from the rest of the house. Chicks, they kick up a lot of dander and a lot of dust, and it's not good to be breathing all that stuff in. So that's why I say I don't recommend brooding chicks in the house. Now these little waterers, they get nasty with poop and bedding very easily. So one thing that you can do to avoid that is to put something in there that's a little bit higher than the bedding. Now I've got more of these. I may end up putting 2 or 3 on top. But that keeps the bedding away from it, and it keeps us a little bit higher so that the chicks can get to it still, but not necessarily kick all of their poop and bedding in it. So before I let that light heat up, I'm going to figure out a secure way of having it in here, because these clamp lights are notorious for falling off and starting house fires and who knows what. So I want to try to avoid that and try and do it the right way. Okay, here is our setup. I did end up taking the lid off of this feeder. We've got one really tiny barred rock. I can't really tell which one it is. I think it's the one over there that's eating right there. But it kept crawling into the feed bucket and getting stuck. So we don't really want that. So in a few more days, I will go ahead and put the lid back on when it's too big to climb in there. Back in the back, I have the waterer, because if that heats up, it's just gonna build up pressure in the water and it's gonna leak water all over. I don't want that big mess. So we're keeping it back there, keeping it out of the light. And so you can tell they're pretty chilly right now. They have been off of a heat lamp here for I don't know how long. It's been several hours. So you can tell that they are ready for a nice warm up. Well, chicks as young as these need the temperature to be around 95 degrees. But they also need to have a cool spot that they can retreat to if they feel like they're getting too hot. Guys, thank you for joining me today. I'm so happy that you got to come along on this adventure with, well, getting some of our very first animals on the homestead. Spread a little kindness and encourage one another today. If you like this video, please hit that like button and subscribe. And until next time, we hope you find your slice of heaven too.